and welcome to Bits.
Tired of munching on the same old Doom diet?
Well, tonight on Bits, we'll be dishing the latest PC and internet bites.
On tonight's show, we spin off into orbit with Star Lancers, check out some horrendous mercenary activity in Soldier of Fortune, and indulge childhood fantasies in Star Wars Force Commander. But first, Alex hits the decks with ground control.
Dissatisfied by your post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of watching Apocalypse Now too many times? Ha! Feel that you need a drill sergeant a la Full Metal Jacket to make you do your morning calisthenics? Ha! Well, perhaps you need to step in the boots of an officer in ground control, and that'll be more your dog tag.
Enemy attacking Squad 1. Enemy attacking Squad 3. Squad 3.
Ground control is a gentle experiment in post-World War III tactical modus operandi over empty stretches of inhospitable terrain on several different planets. The year is 2400. Two opposing factions, the Craven Corporation and the Order of the New Dawn, are well-armed and extremely dangerous. There's a misunderstanding over some newly discovered alien technology, and they're at it, slinging mud across the light years. It's not revolutionary stuff, but it lays down the groundwork for battle. If you're a veteran of Homeworld, also published by Sierra, be prepared to recognize most aspects of its strategic style. It is the terra-firmally constrained little brother to last year's magnificent space game, both in gameplay and quality.
In this game, you're not constructing buildings or gathering wood. No, you're heading down the tactical path from the word go. Resources for squares, man. All the supplies you'll need are chosen at the beginning of each of the 15 levels and carried by the Command APS vehicle. If they run out or it's blown up, your history. Jesus.
You control tanks, troops, and planes from satellite view all the way down to the toe-jammed feet of your soldiers. The camera moves extremely smoothly and easily, swooping around the terrain to the dulcet tunes of Tom Clancy-inspired motivational military music. If you're used to the expansive clarity of Homeworld, keep tight to your units, because you'll be swimming through pea soup in this one, and they'll be trying to get away from the soundtrack. Ugh. Ground control uses the environments effectively, and darkness, though usually the abode of the boogeyman, is your pal. It's best to keep your Command APS hidden in the shadows as a mobile refresher unit rather than let it run loose in enemy territory. It houses your commander, and she'd be pretty pissed off if she was blown up. You might lose your job, and you'll definitely lose the game.
Minus the tidbits that most developers still refuse to include in all real-time strategy games, like waypoints and guard formations, Ground Control is an extremely good game offering solvable puzzles in an instantly gratifying manner.
Space. The smell of it. Well, for the more civilized among us and agoraphobics alike, settle down to Star Lancers.
All over the solar system, Alliance fleets are...
This is a space shooter with strategic elements at zero gravity. To start off, you won't know your arse from your elbow, but hang in there. Once you gain control, you'll really enjoy the ride. Expect dogfights. There are no long-range missiles that automatically lock onto the target. You have to face and fight your opponents.
Before launching into a mission, you'll be given a briefing, but don't pay too much attention, as it's likely to change mid-assignment anyway.
You can also access some fairly lame training missions.
Greetings, pilot. You are now entering a timed combat environment.
Frustrating and fairly pointless. Learn about the various action keys, follow a space drone, and get really annoyed with the instructor, who continuously points out your obvious lack of talent.
Okay, 45th. No more sims. This is for real now.
If I'd known how to use my guns at this point, I know where I'd have pointed them. You're better off jumping straight into the real action. There's a huge amount of keyboard controls, but you really won't need most of them. You can probably get away with knowing the minimum and still get a decent kill score. When you're bored of playing with yourself, there are several multiplayer options, including a cooperative mode and 6 deathmatch options.
I wouldn't recommend this game to anyone with motion sickness, but if you like your arcade-style games, then this one is all action. Star Lancers is out at the end of this month.
Cricket.
The success of such games as Brian Lara confounds me, and the release of Cricket 2000 as a competitor to the upcoming Brian Lara 2 is even more astounding. Don't you people have anything better to do with your time? Regardless, it's out and we can expect graphics, wickets, and googlies galore.
No score.
Cricket 2000 is bowling onto your PCs this Friday.
If you can imagine a game based on the twisted dreams of Spinal Tap, then Soulbringer would be it. Except this ain't no comedy, this is heavy metal gaming. Warlocks and insomniac time travelers may just endure the epic history of this game, which spans nearly 15,000 years of good and evil in constant battle. Soulbringer is a third-person RPG where you encounter all the finds of strangely deformed beasts and ghouls.
All scum for the mines, how fortunate.
All the usual ingredients: dragons, numerous spells, alchemy, giants and medieval shoes, whisked up to make another complex omelette of a game. The detail is phenomenal and the environments are thoughtfully designed with refreshingly simple controls for such a complex game.
Devil Inside may be the title of an INXS song, but it's also an innovative new PC game, spawned from the creative mind of Game Squad's Hubert Chardot. This game is centred around a character called Dave, who's not only possessed by a female devil, but whose motivation is to deliver quality viewing for the gore-mongering spectators of a voyeuristic game show. Think Schwarzenegger in Running Man, pursued by the cast in Night of the Living Dead, and you're just about there. I met up with Hubert in London to find out just what makes him tick.
Hello, how are you?
Very nice to meet you. Very pleased to meet you. Tell us all about it, The Devil Inside.
Yeah, it's a game that is expected in May in the UK. It's a story of an ex-cop from the LAPD criminal section in Los Angeles who turns on a star of a TV show specialized on horror, fantastic things, and occult.
And what's the devil inside then?
The hero has a diva, and he has inside him the diva. It's a devil, and her job is to bring back to air the soul of the living dead that they have to eliminate during the game. She is the connection between earth and hell. I wrote the whole concept in just one night.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, and when was that?
Yeah, I heard the INXS Devil Inside, the music, and saw the show on the television with the kind of America's Most Wanted. So it was a kind of a good intuition.
There's a cameraman who's with you the whole time.
Yeah, you have to protect him, and you could switch the view. For example, in that room you have 3 different ways to play. You have a camera zone, you know, very dynamic, and here you could see your cameraman, for example. You could switch and see what the cameraman is filming.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, he's filming you here, and he have an artificial intelligence. He's here to spot the action and to show it to the audience.
That is absolutely disgusting.
It's quite graphic. Are you worried at all what the US will say about? Because you know they've got this big thing about non-violent game or violent games.
I don't know. US could banish that game, but they never banish weapons. Real weapons who do that. So it's a moral position that I can really understand, like all the European people, in fact. You know, I don't think that is very violent. It's
no more than other games.
Yeah, but and the opposite. It's hopeful. It's a hopeful game because it proves that there's a life after death.
Yeah.
So.
From burning rubber to cherub possession, it's time to round up the top 3 games of the week. First up, F1 2000. Better than the real thing? Well, there certainly are a lot of you out there wanting to come as close as possible to Eddie Irvine's rear end. Feel the G-force and smell the burning rubber from the comfort of your own keyboard. Coming in at number 2 is The Sims. There's a word for the type of person addicted to The Sims. Megalomaniac narcissist. But once this game is loaded into your PC, you can see why it's still topping the charts amongst the normal people. It's so addictive it should come with a health warning. Create your own utopia or take a leaf out of Lucifer's book. Simply the best. And at number 1 this week is Messiah. It seems you, an angel, have been overcome by the need to blow away as much low-life scum as you can fit into a weekend. With sex, religion, possession, and death, confession is one sacrament you better brush up on.
It's time for cheats. If you're finding Unreal Tournament a bit too tough, then here's something to get you off the ground. When you're in one-player mode, press the tilde key and type in, I am the one. From here you can access all kinds of cheats, from picking up a handy chainsaw to becoming a god. But if you want to feel light as a feather, type in fly.
Not satisfied with manipulating all your little Sims, you can now control nature itself. During gameplay, simply press Shift Control and type grow_grass and enter a number between 1 and 150 depending on how fast you want your grass to grow. The higher the number, the busier you'll be.
If you want to see yourself blowing away alien mutants in Quake 3, then press the tilde key and then type in /devmap XXXX. Substitute the X's for the name of your map. Now, whilst playing the game, type in /CG_third-person-1. Now, you and Mr. Mystery Man can frag away in third person. Join us after the break for some saber activity.
Yet another gaming giant, Capcom, have announced that they're producing a massive online multiplayer role-playing game.
A street date is sketchy, the plot is vague, and the graphics are up in the air. But we can tell you it's going to be called Rain Guard.
Rainy Guard.
Rain Guard.
Rainy Guard. Angelina Jolie is Lara Croft. That slinky ex of studman Johnny Lee Miller has officially been picked to portray the cyber babe in the movies.
With Simon West of Con Air fame sitting in the director's chair, this should prove to be a massive blockbuster. Let's just hope Angelina is big enough to fill her boots.
Over my dead body.
This week on Bits, our gadget treats are the latest in palm tops and personal digital assistants, otherwise known as PDAs.
With them, you can surf the net, download all sorts of software, and check your emails. They're also there to remind you of that all-important analyst appointment.
It's a bit like having a secretary with you everywhere you go, only this little baby won't be leaving any incriminating stains.
First up is the Scion Revo. Now, when buying one of these things, it's important to think about what they don't do rather than what they do.
Even at £300, a Scion Revo won't get you internet access, not unless you have a compatible mobile phone, such as a Nokia or an Ericsson. Or you could buy the Scion modem, but this comes in at a steep 180 wonga.
Perhaps a more useful purchase would be the Cyclone floppy drive, which will allow you to back everything up while on the move.
The problem is, the keys are too tiny and my fingers are too big.
Next up is the Oregon Osiris. Like the Scion, it's a PDA with a keypad, therefore you can input your output faster than a speeding stylus.
It has the same amount of standard memory and is compatible with the same sort of software. Despite this, it's a third of the price of the Scion, coming in at around £200.
Apparently, the Scion is intended for high-powered businessmen, and the Oregon, well, it's meant for people who still need speak and spell.
And finally, the Palm VX. What can you say about this? Well, as it happens, loads. Teach yourself the handwriting symbols it uses, and consequently, it'll process pretty much anything you want to say.
This is the Jaguar of the PDA market. It's slim, it's sleek,
And it's amorous.
You can download hundreds of games and books from the internet for free, turn it into a digital camera, or even use it as a remote control.
So, dim the lights, pump up the baccarat, and activate the revolving bed. Shagadelic, baby.
This first-person shooter is gruesome stuff from the depths of those admirably twisted freaks down at Raven Software. You play a mercenary, John Mullins, based on a bona fide vet from Vietnam. Having written a book on his experiences, the real-life John Mullins acted as a consultant for the game. The story follows your basic anti-terrorist action. It's your job to root out a terrorist organisation called The Order, who've stolen 4 nuclear weapons and bring their leader to justice. This very political shooter takes you through various missions and jobs that are delivered by a UN anti-terrorist movement called The Shop, who you've worked for extensively, cleaning up what the government can't. Along the way, you come across 5 other characters to either help or hinder you. When you're stuck in the sewers in Nam and you've already blown your cover, you start to develop some dark, twisted and venomous hobbies. You've even begun to welcome that smell of rotting excrement. For you, there is no prejudice. Everything that's human is a potential target. And when you've developed the finesse for frying terrorists that Mullins has, blowing off kneecaps has become an art form. Respect your radioactive blaster, sir! Yes, sir!
Efficiency is of the utmost importance. There's no never-ending Lara knapsack here. Take with you what your mission requires. Chances are you'll find what you need searching the warm bodies of your victims. Ah, yeah, that's the one.
The name of the game here is accuracy and an eye for the appreciation of dismemberment. The dreams of an American psycho where you get to see, with repugnant attention to detail, quivering bodily wrecks, intestines gouged out, knives protruding from throats, and flying chunks of skull. There are some really sick elements to the game, such as keeping tabs on those you've maimed, nothing like admiring your work. And the mercenary log even records the most creative gunshot wounds. Me thinks this is all getting a little bit blokey. Kind of like those guys who keep score on girls they've persuaded to shag them, picking up extra bonus points for girlfriend's best friend triumphs. But hey-ho, at least it puts meaning to menace.
This game is great if you like the heat turned up and you're a don of gore and weaponry. It does map out quite linear objectives, which is something I prefer, but may not suit those of you who want more complex challenges. And remember, have a stomach, not a heart.
If you're unimpressed with the macho posturing in Soldier of Fortune, then you might like to go to the excellent www.sissyfight.com site. Sissy Fight is an online multiplayer game where you get involved in playground politics like choosing which gang to join, what trainers to wear, and whose hair to pull.
Log on and take some extracurricular lessons in cat fighting. Children.
Long, long ago, in a decade most of us wish was far, far away, a little bearded man named George Lucas came up with a monster that propagated itself into the next millennium. Its legacy lives on within us and within the alcoholic drug addicts that spawned from betwixt its loins. Its latest installment is Star Wars Force Commander. Every young Obi wannabe of the mid-70s dreamt wetly of throwing away their cheap plastic Darth Vader carry case and hitting the dusty sandpits of Tatooine for real. And after only 25.5 years of praying to the industrial light and magic gods, when most of us should really know better, our fantasies have descended to Earth in one big rebel space carrier.
Okay, you womp rat, let's go!
The rumor mill on this game started back in 1997 in the marketing run-up to Episode 1. It was the first peep in a long time of anything coming from that corner of the galaxy, and chat rooms alit with prepubescent glee. A real-time strategy game allowing you to quell that vicious habit of telling your pals on the 773rd viewing of the box set that if you'd been in charge of all that battlefield, you'd have done it so much better. Bliss. Girlfriends across Britain raised a silent yelp of joy. Well, here it is, your chance to don the apparel of an Imperial dude and sort those rebels out once and for all. Prepare to commit harikari in the lightsaber of your choice, because this game is one pile of droopy, crusted cardboard pants!
You heard the General, Lieutenant. Move out.
There's no plot line, but simply a series of missions that mirror those from the original film. The objectives respectfully kowtow to Lucas's brilliance, but leave a pretty significant factor out. The graphics might have made headline news back in the last century, but nowadays, they're shite. Although you can control stormtroopers, AT-ATs, and TIE fighters, when traversing across an inhospitable barren wasteland towards an ambiguous goal, they look like a gaggle of wayfaring Shakespearean performers rather than a ferocious killing battalion, ready to wipe their arses with the smears they leave behind in their wake, which is what you should do with this game.
I don't have any weapons.
The control system is unnecessarily cumbersome. Although you move, attack, and waypoint as in most early strategy games, there are certain modern conveniences that are taken for granted nowadays, like moving the camera with ease instead of playing finger twister with your mouse, like using the whole map, like playing on a surface that doesn't fold and break while trying to command your dudes across it, like seeing what they're doing and where they're going. The interface takes up half the screen, so even if the environments were stunning landscapes and not endless patterns of baby vom yellow, you'd be hard-pressed to see them. Sadly, you're stuck with this command panel unless you've got some extra space in your brain for the unnecessarily confounding hotkey configuration, which isn't worth it. This game is a waste of time and energy, and it ain't good on the ears either. Run screaming from this horrendous, cash-inciting tripe and punish George Lucas for yet another bad decision in the Star Wars franchise. We will make him pay. This travesty of software is out to burn now. Coming up this week in the console front, starting out is Dead or Alive 2, kicking some booby butt as it slams onto the Dreamcast. Expect interactive environments, new moves, and white panties a go-go. Rev up your PlayStation fighter pilots, because N-Gen Racing is going to overtake Wipeout on the hairpin bend. And finally, here's a sneaky peek at the next installment of Oddworld Enterprises. It's not Abe this time around, it's Munch's Odyssey on the PlayStation 2. And oh, does it look tasty!
This week's competition prize is an AMD K7 computer.
Now, we already know that you love your PC, but what we don't know is how PC you are.
So for those of you who are skint or economically challenged but want to get your hands on this kit, then prove to us just how PC you can be.
Email us with your best politically correct phrases.
If a shot of console action is more your tipple and you're feeling rather parched, then tune in to Bits T4 on Sunday.
Beware, coward.